This is the AIVOLT Inverter Generator 4300 watts, and my honest first thought was, that's a lot of power for something this compact. The orange and black suitcase design is easy to spot, and at about 51 pounds, I can lift it without help, though I prefer two hands so I don't tweak my back. It feels purpose-built for camping, RV trips, and quick backup at home when the lights go out. Key features that stood out to me right away: 4300 starting watts, 3450 running watts, a 149cc 4-stroke OHV engine with copper windings, and inverter tech that puts out clean power with under 3% THD. That clean power part matters if you're plugging in laptops, camera batteries, a router, or a CPAP. The panel is laid out in a way that just makes sense. A 120V 30-amp locking outlet for RV use, a standard 120V 20-amp duplex for household plugs, a 12-volt DC outlet, plus USB-A and USB-C so I can charge phones and action cams without dragging out extra bricks. The 5-in-1 LCD shows voltage, frequency, hours, and warning lights for oil, overload, and output status. There's eco mode for fuel savings and parallel ports if I ever want to double up with a second unit. It also has CO alert for safety and meets EPA requirements. From my experience, setup was straightforward. It ships dry, so I added about half a quart of 10W30 and used the included funnel because the fill port is tucked in there. I did a careful break-in over several hours, varied the load, and then changed the oil. I wish I could say the oil change was tidy, but it wasn't. The drain location makes it easy to spill inside the housing. I ended up cutting a small channel from a plastic bottle to guide the oil out. It worked, but it shouldn't be that fiddly on a product this well thought out. Starting has been rock solid. My unit is recoil start with an integrated start-run-off dial that handles the choke and fuel. In my climate, it usually lights off on the first or second pull, even after sitting a bit. I've seen some listings mention electric start. Mine doesn't have a button or a battery, so that looks like a variant difference. If push-button start matters to you, double-check the exact model number before ordering. Noise is where this thing shines. At idle with eco mode, it's a low, steady hum that blends into normal conversation. Even under load, it's still respectful at a campground. I ran it at the edge of a site and didn't feel like I was bothering anyone. When the load jumps, you'll hear the engine spin up, but it doesn't become harsh. It's noticeably quieter than open-frame units of similar output. Power delivery has been confident. I've used it to start and run a 13,500 BTU RV air conditioner without drama, as long as I keep other heavy loads off during the startup surge. On tools, I've tested a saw and an electric chain setup. The generator responded to the surge without tripping overload. For sensitive stuff, my laptop, router, and camera batteries stayed stable. No screen flicker, no weird charger behavior. The USB-C port is a nice touch that I actually use more than I expected. The display and controls are genuinely useful. The hour meter keeps me honest on maintenance, and the warning lights are bright enough to catch a quick status glance from a few feet away. The combined dial for starting is friendly for beginners. There's less chance of forgetting a separate fuel valve or flooding it with the choke, because the generator manages all that when you turn the dial. Fuel and runtime are where the specs get confusing online. I've seen 0.69 gallon listed. The manual talks about 1.15 gallons, and I've also seen 0.92 gallon mentioned elsewhere. In my opinion, real-world use puts it closer to about a gallon of usable fuel. With light loads in eco mode, I get around the claimed 5.5 hours at about 25% load. If I'm pushing an AC at night, I plan to refuel before morning. This is the trade-off for portability. You get a quieter, lighter unit, but you give up an all-night tank when you're running heavy draws. Portability is solid. The size makes it easy to stash in a truck bed or an RV compartment. The handle is molded well, but at 51 pounds, I still choose the two-hand carry for longer distances. A telescoping handle and wheel kit make a big difference on pavement. If your box doesn't include them, they're worth looking into. Heat and build quality are fine for the category. The plastic shell keeps noise down and looks clean, but it's still plastic. I keep two units at least 20 inches apart if I parallel them, so the exhaust heat from one doesn't mark the other. CO safety is real. I had one automatic shutdown when I parked it too close to an open garage door and the wind pushed fumes inside. That's the sensor doing its job. Now I always place it downwind and away from walls and openings. RV use is straightforward. The included adapter lets me go from the locking 30A outlet to a standard TT30 plug. If you need 50 amp service, you'll want two of these and the parallel kit. If you're using a transfer switch at home, It's worth checking whether you need a bonded neutral solution for your setup. I stick to a proper inlet and switch and follow code, so I'm not improvising with anything unsafe. In my opinion, the AIVOLT 4300 watts hits a sweet spot for folks who need more than a 2000-watt travel unit but don't want to haul a heavy open-frame machine. The clean power is the headline. The noise level is the reason it actually gets used, and the power-to-weight ratio is what makes it practical. The two annoyances for me are the smallish fuel tank and that messy oil drain design. Neither is a deal breaker, but both are real. It's perfect for RV owners with 30-amp service, campers who want quiet power for lights, fans, cooking gear, and electronics, and homeowners who need to keep a fridge, Wi-Fi, and some essentials running during an outage. From my experience, it's reliable, starts easily, and punches above its size. I'd recommend this for anyone who values quiet, clean power and doesn't mind planning fuel for longer nights or getting a little creative at oil change time. In conclusion, the AIVOLT Inverter Generator 4300 watts delivers stable power, friendly controls, and campsite-approved sound in a compact package. The specs are strong, the interface makes sense, and the included RV adapter and USB ports are genuinely useful. If you're weighing portability versus runtime, know what matters to you, and you'll be happy with this choice. If you found this video helpful, hit subscribe and drop your questions or your own experience in the comments. Thank you for watching.